Oh? There's a crisp in the air, and what's that smell? Is that pumpkin spice? Oh no, it's Halloween, isn't it? Of course, I'm always blindsided by Halloween, even though it's on the same day of the year as it usually is. Crazy, how could they do this to me? Well, I guess I should start working on a video for Halloween. Let's look at my list. Slender? No thanks. Garten of Ban. One day. Bandy and the Ink Machine, what even is that? Granny? No. Hello Neighbor, oh, someone else is doing that. Five Nights at Freddy's? Did I do that already? Wait, huh? Five Nights at Freddy's 2, perfect, absolutely perfect. I know the perfect person for this. Hey dude, you know what time it is.
But come on, man. I literally can't do it. I'm heading somewhere kind of important.
Look, there's no arguing. Contractually obligated.
I can't do it.
Don't make me send my lawyers after you.
Fine. I'll fudging do it. I'll do it. But next time, try to get me when I'm not busy. The best way to record this video is to go back in time.
What we do here is go back.
Yet another Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. You know what they say, no time like the present, or like the past. I digress. I should just enter the building already. So guys, it's me, TaquitoMan64, and I am contractually obligated to make this video for TBGP. And you know we're gonna be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's. This game came out 10 years ago. Man, I feel older with every year passes, and it's insane, dog. And that's why we're gonna answer the question, is it good or is it nostalgic? So yeah, let's actually start talking about the game. And the first thing is the history. Five Nights at Freddy's, the second history begins like all other sequels history, where the first game was well received and made a fudge ton of money. So the next logical step is to make a sequel to that game. And I bet you that's kind of how Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was made. And it was released November 11th, 2014. Brother, that is 3 months after the first game. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to release it 3 months later. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, it happened. And I've only heard the hype for this game was insane, and every new teaser was like a really awesome thing, because I wasn't really there, because I didn't even know Five Nights at Freddy's 2 released till DanTDM made videos on the game, and I started to see Roblox games pop up. And you know, it's been kind of a while since I checked on Roblox. Let's see what's been going on. Oh, that's what's been going on.
Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move away from that for a little bit. So yeah, this game actually did release to a positive reception, but over the years it kind of got more and more negative because people started to see some cracks in the game, and I can kind of understand why it got so much more negative, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. And that was the history of Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Bruh, look at this dude. No. Look at the top of his head.
So we're gonna talk about the characters from FNAF 2. And we're gonna kick it off with Toy Freddy.
Is that Toy Freddy? Well, you know, he's kinda, fat. I mean, come on, you know, come on, what can I say? He's gained a few pounds. I mean, look at him compared to the other animatronics on the show stage. He's, you know, rounder, more big-boned.
Besides that, Toy Freddy has a personality that was given to him in Ultimate Custom Night, being a gamer.
That game was totally rigged! That's what you get for leaving me hanging!
which is actually hilarious. I don't know why. God thought that Toy Freddy needed to be a gamer, but I just think it's funny, and I don't think I can live without it now. It's just that funny and stupid, and it's just kind of hilarious. Like, he had nothing before, but now that he's a gamer, it just makes it infinitely more funny. You can't see him the same way ever again. So yeah, that's basically Toy Freddy. The next character is Toy Bonnie, and Toy Bonnie is the most forgotten animatronic ever. Like, he had a teaser all to himself, but that didn't change the fact that he would be forgotten. Like, it's insane. And what makes it more funny is that his personality that was given to him in FNAF AR, not Ultimate Custom Night for some other reason, is that he thinks he's the star of the show, but the irony is that he isn't. He's forgotten, and it makes it more funny. And here's some voice lines to verify that.
Aren't I just the shiniest? Clear the stage, for the star of our show is now here.
And like, it's kind of hilarious. But the next character is probably my least favorite character from this game, the infamous Toy Chica. And I'm gonna be real, I don't like this character because looking for a render for Toy Chica is like the worst thing ever, because you're almost always gonna run into not safe for work art, and it's insane. I don't know why. And we should have known this was gonna be the fate the moment that this clip got created.
She is such a bad though.
And like, it's kind of insane. And like, she did get a personality in Ultimate Custom Night, but it's like trying to be like seductive and a killer, and it's just like terrible, and I hate it, and it's uncomfortable. Here's some voice clips.
You won't get tired of my voice, will you? Let's go somewhere more private. So I can eat you.
And yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just not that great. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And so the next character is the Mangle. And you know what? The Mangle's very existence is sad, because it was created to entertain children, but it became the entertainment, being ripped apart and put back together day after day, only for the employees to abandon it, to leave it as this mangle of parts.
And the Mangle does have a personality.
But yeah, the Mangle exists, and here is some voice lines.
Don't be afraid. Soon you will look just like me. Beautiful. Now I get to play take apart and put back together. You won't feel a thing.
And fun fact, the Mangle has probably one of the most important voice lines in the entirety of Ultimate Custom Night, which is kind of insane. And here it is.
He's here and always watching. The one you shouldn't have killed.
Other than that, the Mangle doesn't really have much else, and the reason why I keep calling it the Mangle, because in FNAF 2, the phone guy calls Mangle the Mangle, and I think that's funny, so I'm gonna keep doing it. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next character, being Balloon Boy. And Balloon Boy is the most hated character in all of Five Nights. I don't know if all of Five Nights at Freddy's, but in this game. And I'm just gonna say, this little goober isn't really that bad because he's kind of easy to keep out of the room. And the reason why I'm kind of just mentioning gameplay is because Balloon Boy has nothing. Balloon Boy's entire existence is just to torment you, and that's it. No personality, no soul. That is the entire thing. And it's kind of funny. And like, yeah, and then you have the alternate Balloon Boy called JJ that spawns under your table. The reason why I'm mentioning them in the same thing is they're practically exactly the same. And that's pretty much it for Balloon Boy. The next character is the Marionette, and the Marionette came out in this game, and it was like the most shrouded in mystery character for a long time. No one knew what the Marionette was, but it was very important at the same time. And like, we didn't learn till like FNAF 6 that the Marionette is actually Henry's daughter's spirit inside of it. We didn't learn that till like all those many years later, and it's kind of insane that this is one of still the most important character in the entire franchise, one of them. besides Afton. But yeah, the marionette has a personality, and it's just being protective over the animatronics, and that's it. Here's some voice lines.
The others are under my protection. The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
And so the next character is actually the star of the Withered animatronics, being Withered Freddy. And Withered Freddy has no personality at this moment, because they didn't give Withered Freddy any voice lines. So Withered Freddy is just there now, and I think it makes Withered Freddy more creepy. You just don't know what it's thinking as he stands in the hallway towering over you, not saying a word, not doing anything, but just staring menacingly. And I just had to make that cred up. So yeah, Withered Freddy has no personality at this current moment. And so we're just gonna move on to the next Withered character, and that is Withered Bonnie, which he does have a pseudo personality. He just has some voice lines, and here it is.
Time to face the consequences of your failure. Might as well face the facts. You were always destined to fail.
He's always making face jokes, and that's kind of funny. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but it is. And Withered Bonnie has a lot more fanfare than Toy Bonnie, which is actually insane. So the next character is Withered Chica, which Withered Chica is in the same vein as Withered Bonnie, where she has personality, but not really, just has voice lines from Ultimate Custom Night.
Let me show you how to break your face and look like me. I was the first. I have seen everything.
And has one of the most important voice lines, and I'll play it right now.
I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed.
But other than that, that's Withered Chica. So now we're gonna move on to the final character being, or at least not the final character because there's one more after this, being Withered Foxy. He has no personality at this point in time. Yeah, like Withered Foxy has no personality. Same with Withered Freddy, because they weren't in Ultimate Custom Night and they never got any voice lines, which that's fair and I'm okay with, because that means I don't have to talk about them for too long. And that's pretty much it for the Withereds, other than the last one being Golden Freddy, which Golden Freddy has no personality at all, other than being the vengeful spirit, and that's it. That's all we get for Golden Freddy, and that's pretty much it for the characters of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I talked about this for 8 minutes. So now we're gonna move on to the next segment.
It's you! It's you!
Yeah. Well, yes, kind of.
How could you, man? How could you?
So the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is kind of simple, where you have a door that leads into a hallway and you have 2 vents, and you need to check the lights on the vents to make sure nothing gets into your office, and you have a flashlight to check what's in the hallway, and if something is in the hallway, flash it away, and if something's in your vent, put on your mask. And you also have a camera system, and you can check them, but most of them don't matter unless you want to see some Easter eggs. There's only one that actually truly matters, and that is Cam 11, being the Puppets music box. And you need to keep winding it because it's kind of like your power system. If that goes down, then you're pretty much dead because the marionette will get you. And so always keep the music box wind up with all costs. And also, your flashlight runs on batteries, and you can use the flashlight in the camera, but there's no point in doing that because you're only going to be on cam 11 throughout the entire game, so don't do that. That's just going to waste battery power. And the next thing I want to talk about is the animatronics. And I'm going to start out with the toy animatronics, being Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica, and they all start on the show stage, but then they will move, and Toy Freddy will come through the hallway, Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica will come from the vents, Toy Chica coming from the left, while Toy Bonnie comes from the right. And if you see Toy Bonnie or Toy Freddy in your office, put on the mask, but Toy Chica doesn't actually enter your office. Weirdly enough, her sprite is in the game, but she just doesn't ever enter, and that's kind of weird. But if you see her in the vent, put on your mask until you hear a vent noise, and she should be gone. And then you have 2 other animatronics that work very similar, being the mangle will come through your right vent, and if you see it in the right vent and hear the radio sounds, then put on your mask until you hear a vent noise. If you don't, then the mangle will get into your office and slowly lower down until it kills you. And then Balloon Boy is similar, but he comes from your left vent. And if you see him in there, put on your mask until you hear a vent noise and he will go away. But if he doesn't, you're fudged because he will steal your batteries and you can't prevent what comes from the hallway and you'll die. He doesn't actually jump scare you. All the other ones will, but Balloon Boy doesn't because he's a goober. And now you have the withered animatronics. And the withered animatronics are kind of similar to the toy animatronics, being that Withered Freddy comes from your hallway, Withered Bonnie and Withered Chica come from your vents. Wait a second, that's not just similar, that's exactly the same. Hold up, wait, actually, Withered Chica comes from your right vent, while Withered Bonnie comes from your left. And also, the withered animatronics will pull down your monitor, and if you don't put on the mask immediately, they'll kill you. They're sort of slightly different. Something smells funky, not you. And the last withered animatronic is Withered Foxy, where if you see him in the hallway, you'll have to flash him a couple of times. There's no set amount, you just have to do it until he goes away. And that's why you don't want Balloon Boy stealing your batteries, or you'll just die to Foxy. And so that's all the animatronics. And I'm going to be real, they work almost exactly the same, all of them. They just have slight differences, but they almost all work the same except for Foxy and the puppet, but that's it. And that's why I kind of don't really like FNAF 2, because like after the first 2 nights, the game stops being scary and has more repetition, and it kind of just starts feeling like you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And like, it just isn't that fun, because this game has really bad RNG where like sometimes you could be trying to wind up the box, but then every animatronic will try to rush you, and then by the time you go back to the music box, the puppet has already got out of it and is going to kill you. And so it's just not that fun. I actually don't really like the gameplay of FNAF 2. I like the gameplay of FNAF 1 and 3 way more. FNAF 2 just is a lot more chaotic in a bad way, where it's just so much happening that it becomes numbing, and it's also not that scary, even though it's supposed to be a horror game. And that's kind of the saddest part. I also am not a big fan of the custom night, because I think the decision of having Foxy always active, even though he's on 0, makes no sense. He has no AI. Why the fudge is he still able to kill me? So when you're doing other like challenges, Foxy is still gonna show up, and it kind of just makes it not really that fun, because you know, he still shows up, and in doing the max mode is just terrible. This is basically my attempt at it every time.
You two dipsticks ain't gonna last 10 seconds over the county line!
Oh yeah? We'll see about that.
Out of the car, fellas.
How many seconds was that?
12.
In your face!
So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I just think it has a lot of repetition, and it's just like not that fun, because almost every animatronic goes away via the mask, and it's just not that interesting, and almost every camera is useless unless you want to see some Easter eggs or you want to see what the animatronics look like. But I don't recommend doing that, because the puppet will get you if you take too long, and also the other animatronics get really aggressive by like night 4, so good luck trying to do that. It just isn't really that fun, and it just kind of just becomes nightmarish. So yeah, the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 isn't that fun, at least in my opinion. I think it's kind of like worse than FNAF 1 and 2, but it's not the worst in the series. I think the worst gameplay in any FNAF game, and you can fight me on this, is FNAF 6. It is quite literally the most boring gameplay, because you can choose to have no animatronics or have animatronics, but either way it's still not fun, because by night 4 that game becomes miserable. And so yeah, like FNAF 2 is alright when it comes to the gameplay, but it's not anything too special. Now we're gonna move on to the next segment. So the ambience of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is like okay at best. It's only good for like one night, being night 1, because you actually get to hear the ambience for a good while, and then it starts to just become very chaotic with the sounds. You just constantly hear alarms blaring, the animatronics are running through the vents, and the animatronics moving through the hallway constantly, and then you just hear the marionettes theme, and it's just very awful, and like it's just not that scary at all. The ambience has to make you feel fear, but it just doesn't do this for this game. It's only unsettling for like one night and then goes back to being just like mediocre. And like I think one of the things that would have helped is if you actually got to look around the cameras, but you don't. Also, your office is way brighter than the one from FNAF 1. So yeah, the ambience is kind of just not that good. So we're just gonna move on. So now the lore and Easter eggs. So I'm going to talk about the lore first. And oh my gosh, this game, when it came to the lore, was amazing. It is dang near perfect next to Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Because we got so many answers and so little at the same time. And it gave us new things like, who's the purple guy? Who did the bite of 87? What even was the bite of 87? And like, it gave us so many like mysteries. It gave us the death mini games like give gifts, give alive, take cakes to the kids, Foxy go go go, save them. And there might be one other that I forgot. I don't know. You also got the cutscenes in between nights. And also the revelation that this game was a fudging prequel. Let's go. That was insane. And also, it introduced the purple guy, one of the most iconic FNAF characters, being William Afton, but we wouldn't know that till much later. And this was back in the day when people thought that the phone guy was the purple man, which is kind of funny because he's not British. But like back in the day, you can't blame people for thinking the phone guy was the purple guy. And I just gotta say, I kind of believe that back in the day, and I kind of don't like when people go back to that old game theory and say Matt Pat is wrong, because it was a long time ago. No one had the foresight that William Afton existed. That is just my 2 cents. And then you have the Easter eggs where you got the endoskeleton in the vent and the endoskeleton near the puppet box that gave us genuinely one of the best Daco clips ever.
Oh, what the f?
And then you also have like JJ under the table. That's an Easter egg. You had the Shadow animatronics being Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. And if Shadow Freddy is in Hearts and Service and you stare at him for too long, your game will crash. There is Shadow Bonnie, and if he appears in your office and you look at him for too long, your game will crash. I'm noticing a pattern. And you had like the paper pals moving around. And dude, like there were so many Easter eggs, like dog. This game just had so many, and it was just kind of perfect. I don't know what to say. The lore and Easter eggs for FNAF 2 were just really good. Like again, besides FNAF 3, which is insane. FNAF 2 was just a really good game when it came to lore and stuff. Like it did so much for the series, and it was insane. So yeah, that was the lore and Easter eggs. So before we come to the final verdict, I just gotta talk about some pros and I gotta talk about some cons. The first con of this game is the gameplay ain't really that good. Con number 2 is the ambience kind of sucks and it's non-existent. Con number 3 is that the Puppets music box makes the game worse. And then con number 4 is the custom 90s game ain't all that good, at least in my opinion. Those are all the cons. Now we're going to talk about some pros. The pros is that the lore is really good. Another pro is that the vibe of this game is really good. And then another pro is that the Easter eggs are really good. Those are all the pros and those are all the cons. There's only one more con than pros, but that's still pretty good. And now, the final verdict. Is this game good or nostalgic? The game is Nostalgic. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying it's not good because there's a lot about this game that I don't really like and that I kind of just chalk up to nostalgia as one of the reasons why I still like this game, because again, the gameplay is not really that good. It's worse than the first game somehow, and I don't understand that. But yeah, the game is nostalgic. Not every game's gonna be good. Some of them are just going to be nostalgic, and that's this one. And so yeah, if you want to see my opinions on the other FNAF games, hopefully TBGP will link my hour-long FNAF video in the description of this one. And remember to subscribe to my channel when I upload the video why hippos are drinking up all of our water supplies. So yeah, this was your host, Taquito Man 64. See you all in the next one. Goodbye.